Let's bring in Jonathan Fahey, former federal prosecutor and former DHS deputy assistant. Jonathan, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
How much of a challenge does the federal government and law enforcement have on their hands now with these types of attacks, people becoming radicalized? I mean, we've just had these two just within the last week.
Yeah, it's very challenging because you look at some of these attacks and the people, they're either lone wolves or like two people working just with each other. So it's really hard to prevent these types of things when there's not sort of a larger coordinated effort where they could be prospectively monitoring on the front end. I think the most important thing law enforcement could do, which sort of goes sort of to the DHS shutdown, is you need a strong appearance of security. And I think that's where Mondami really blew it last week, because they looked like they were unserious, and their unserious makes us vulnerable to terrorists that think we're weak and won't be able to prevent it. So much of these things, it's to prevent it, to appear strong, because you can't really, every individual that might be thinking about it, you're not going to be able to know who they are.
And when you look at what the real threat here is in the U.S., the IRGC can project its power across the Middle East, but it's not exactly very easy to get to the United States. Is this mostly people who have some type of affinity for these groups? They found the one guy with the Ayatollah T-shirt on, for example. It's not like he had that we know of, any direct connection to the Iranian regime. And this is really a level of inspiration, right? That's even tougher to get to.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly right. When it's just sort of the affinity for the group rather than a member of the group. Yeah, how do you detect that, and how do you, how are you able to identify those people? I think one thing that's really important, we've seen a lot of these people in these attacks have been naturalized citizens, which on one hand, we're always talking about illegal immigration, but it really just shows we have a major problem with our legal immigration system, that we're clearly not screening people out particularly well, or some of them you probably couldn't, but it just shows how important it is to be careful on that front door, because once you let people in, as we know, even with illegal aliens, the Democrats fight tooth and nail to keep them from getting kicked out. So legal immigrants, once they get here, particularly when they're naturalized, it's really hard to kick them out and leaving Americans vulnerable if we don't do due diligence on the front end.
Now, there are efforts in Congress to try to make it easier to denaturalize someone, but on the one hand, the Supreme Court has, in the past, not to say the Supreme Court can't change, it's changed on a lot of things over the last few years, but has made it very difficult to say you can take someone's citizenship away once they've been granted it, unless they, lied about it on their forms. And then secondly, there's this issue that maybe it's too late before you realize you want to take their citizenship away, that they've already done something and attacked someone. So how challenging is it to denaturalize someone?
Right, that's a good point. Yeah, you don't want to be the point of let's take it away after something bad happened, because that didn't protect the Americans to begin with. But it's very challenging to take away someone's citizenship. It has to go through a federal district court, not an immigration court. And usually the cases are where somebody lied to get naturalized. They might have lied about their affiliations, committed some sort of fraud. And those cases are going to be difficult to prove. And even if there are a lot of people that fit in that category, the sheer volume of it would make it very challenging, which again, back to my other point is you got to get people on the front door, because, the question should be before somebody's brought into this country legally is, are they going to help us? Are they going to make us more prosperous without creating any safety risk, or at least very minimal safety risk and minimal national security risk? And if we're not really vetting these people out on the front end, we're leaving people vulnerable. But I'm very glad that Congress is addressing this, but I think it still is going to have challenges in the courts.
Tall task. Jonathan Fahey, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.